We're gonna get started here in a second, guys. One moment. I am just I'm kind of a hot mess right now. Okay, I think we're good to go. Oops, gotta get the volume going. All right, everything looks good. Okay, dude. Man, tonight, dude. I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of reasons tonight. Well, tonight we're gonna go. We got some Yooooooooooooohee gambling. We're gonna do the expansion drill boss. But more importantly than all that, there's something I want to talk about. This is the me segment, right? Hey, Wooly, how's it going? Glad you guys could make it. So, but before we get into all that, let me see if I can pull it up here. This is what I want to talk about. Let's see. Yep, sorry, I'm gonna have to mute the music. Here we go. I think we're gonna be able to pull this up. This is what I wanted to talk about. This is huge news, dude. I am so freaking hyped about this character. So for those of you who don't know and have not been paying attention, they previewed and announced PA15 or Florence on the CN servers earlier this week, and man, I am freaking pumped. I'm pumped, dude. I'm hyped. Let me position this a little better. See if I can make this window a little. Whatever. You guys get the idea. Anyway, so yeah, there's multiple reasons why I'm hyped for this character. Well, anybody who knows the character, okay, so you know how I feel about the you know my stance on Gunner content, but this is like the one exception I make to that rule. Is so let me see if I can pull up the video here. So this is the video that they previewed on the CN, like their version of the Balin Island emergency shelter broadcast. So let's see if I can fast forward a little bit. They gave a quick preview of the characters. So first of all, hold up, let me rewind. First of all, I looked at the character art for this character. I'm like, okay, cool. Like they kind of did like a mishmash of both of her outfits from GFL1 and from PNC. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'm like, but what is this bear dressed like this polar bear in the GIMP outfit? I'm like, what is this thing behind her? And I'm like, boy, wouldn't it be freaking cool? I'm like, Nikita gets like a dog. I'm like, wouldn't it be awesome if like she gets a bear? I'm like, that'd be cool. I'm like, but nah, they won't do anything like that. There's no way. And then sure enough, if you like, as they went through the stream here, let's fast forward between fucking Yuzong and did I go too far? Maybe I went too far. Yeah, they did. They previewed her. Slow down right to about here. The bear actually is like a actual like summoned unit in combat and like participates in combat. So she is like essentially getting a second unit just like Nikita does. So not only is that cool for things like Gunsmoke Frontline where you want like multiple targets, but it's just a cool play style. So they're turning like let's see if I can get like there's a couple other animations that they have of the bear attacking and stuff. But like, so they're kind of turning like the whole element of the whole water element into like a summoner type team. Like, so now we have, yeah, I know, little on the nose there with with some of the aesthetics, but so yeah, let's see, like the bear does a counterattack here. I'm gonna go through her abilities real quick because they did, I think, preview her abilities. And yes, I know there's no volume and there's no music going in the background now, so. But I'm just so hyped. I'm so hyped for this character. Like I said, they're turning the entire like hydro water element into like an entire team of units that summon. Like Springfield's got a summon. Nikita has a summon. Now Florence is gonna have a summon. So like if you're into that style of gameplay, like just a bunch of little minions running around the map, which I totally am. Like I said, this is gonna fit perfectly into that team. And she's also got an interesting play style because I think we might have passed it here, but like, so she puts this buff on her teammates here. And yeah, they don't really show up very well in this, but she puts the buff on her teammates, and like I said, it saps their HP and it converts it into damage. I don't think they do another showcase of her combat in this stream. I'm gonna fast forward real quick. That's just a weapon. Splash art. Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. And I forgot about this. So, they even brought back the GFL1 costume, which it's hard to see in this because it's kind of fuzzy and like low quality. But when they have this on the live servers, I'm sure there'll be like YouTube videos of it up. So this is definitely like what you consider. This falls into the Gooner territory for sure. But the interesting thing about this costume, which is like from a technical standpoint, is cool. I don't know if you can see it very well, but like it's like a semi-transparent outfit, which is like a little risque for sure. But like I said, it's just really cool that they're able to animate and like do these interesting things with like the costumes on the units and like the skins. Um, I can't think of any other game that well I can like there are other games that do like semi-transparent like clothing outfit like tapestries hanging off characters, but like this is just a really cool effect, and this is just me gushing, okay, guys. Like I'm just having a moment here, okay. Like I feel like the devs they heard me. For people who've watched my stream before, I've talked about this. I'm like, dude, why did they keep releasing like Belka and give her like the skanky like Halloween outfit? I'm like Florence is right there. I'm like she's part of the franchise. I'm like just pull her in if you want the Gooner dollars. And here we are. We've come full circle. And I'm just really hyped. Yeah, and Wooly, that's another point is pistols. She is a pistol unit, which is like desperately needed because like right now there's only like three pistols in the game. She'll be the fourth one. So like desperately need some like diversity in the different kinds of weapons that are available for units in the game. Um, yeah. Well, he says I wasn't expecting Mika to release Florence so quickly. See, I kind of was right. Like I kind of thought I thought Florence was going to be released way sooner than like I said, for example, like Belka, kind of like a no-name character that didn't really even have any plot relevance in the last game. So I'm just going to quickly talk about her skills real quick, just because it's interesting. I read them earlier, and it's just interesting from like a meta standpoint of like kind of how they're designing units. So I already kind of talked about how she and while I'm talking, I'll have this video going. This is like her official preview video. Uh, so not only does she have another summon, which is very thematic for her because, like I said, it's fits in with the rest of the Hydro team. Like they're all going to have summons. I'm assuming that's like kind of the direction they're taking that team, with maybe the exception of Tolo. But so like her abilities, one is restore HP and dispels debuffs, which is makes a lot of sense with her next ability. Her next skill is like dispels debuffs, taunt, flee, and applies stimulants to the target, which causes this is a friendly target, by the way. You put on your teammate, they sap their own HP to do extra damage and extra hydro damage, which is really cool. I love that, like kind of like hurt yourself to do more damage playstyle, which like I said, if she's the only character on the team, she can then kind of heal them back up with her first skill, but she just heals them. But then in addition to that, she let's see, after that we have her alt, which does a whole ton of AoE damage. It summons her bear if it's not already on the field, and she splits damage, or she doesn't even split damage for the bear. I believe the bear takes all the damage. Look here. It says it's translated here as when Florence takes damage, Arios, which is the bear, will take all damage on behalf of Florence. So, that might be a mistranslation if it's going to take 100% or half the damage, but um like I said, it's a very interesting play style. She's going to essentially have she's like 3 units in one. Like that's why I like what they did with her design so much, is because she's a buffer, she's a healer, and with the bear, I think she's like a pseudo tank because the bear is going to be able to taunt people, right? So when she uses her alt, it summons the bear if the bear's not already on the field, inflicts a debuff that pretty much just makes the enemies take more hydro damage. And then also it says here it inflicts something called infatuation, which I don't think it specifically describes what that means, but I'm assuming that means taunt. Um, so that's a just another version of like I said, taunt. And so she's gonna be able to do like 3 different things. She's gonna be able to do tanking, assuming the bear doesn't have like horrible stats, but she'll be able to tank, be able to heal, and she'll be able to like buff. And if you have someone like Springfield on the team who's gonna do all the healing, is actually gonna do more healing than you need. Um, some of fixed keys actually like kind of considered that already. Like one of the fixed keys changes it so that her first skill doesn't even heal the target. It just causes them to take even more damage. But that synergizes with her second skill, which does extra hydro damage based on the HP that the unit has lost. So okay, we're done. We're gonna stop that. All right. Sorry, Florence, go away. This is a Yooooooooooooohee stream or Yuhi stream. I got that out of my system. Thank you guys for sitting through. Wow, that was 12 minutes. 12 minutes of me ranting about how hyped I am for Florence, dude. Like I said, I'm just, dude. We're saved. We are actually saved. GFL2 is saved. With all the money Mika is gonna make off that character, they're gonna be able to fund the development of the game for like years, maybe even decades. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, so hyped. Yeah, I know. Like, this is a brand new incognito tab, by the way, Wooly. Like, that was literally, like, what YouTube thinks are the default. Like, I've literally only typed in that one search result, and that's, well, that's the YouTube algorithm at its finest. It hurts. So, sorry. I'm sorry. I just had a fanboy moment there. Got that out of my system. Real quick before we start, we do have a new code, Doll's Gift, which I haven't actually cashed in. Oops, if I spelled Doll's right. Doll's Gift. So this is a new code. Anyone who hasn't grabbed it already, go ahead, just hit it there, and these are you get free access permissions. So make sure you grab that if you haven't. Arlo's like, I just missed 12 minutes of rants. Can you redo it? Come back in -- months when we get Florence, and then I'll redo that rant, Arlo. Yeah, Arlo, it was just me talking about Florence and how hyped I am. That's the other thing I'm hyped about, is because we're getting like Yuhi so soon, I'm even more excited that I'm not gonna have to wait 6 months to a year to get Florence. So there's I mean, the sad part is every time we delay or we slip a new character in the order, we delay Lena, which that kind of hurts, but you know, sacrifices need to be made. Well, GFL/Nikki collab will have Florence. I don't think so, man. I don't think there's doing any collabs anytime soon. I'm still waiting for the PNC collab, which is, like I said, actually kind of weird now that I mention it, because like I said, Florence is in PNC, so she was in GFL1 though. She's not a. I'm assuming the PNC characters are going to be strictly characters from that game. Arlo's like, oh no. See, guys, I mean, don't take this out of context. Nah, I'm not like that. It's just that, you know, Florence is just a very iconic character from the franchise. She's, to me, I think she actually hits the balance very well of like kind of on like the more like lewd side, but like kind of holding it together, like not too over the top. Like she acts over the top, but at the same time they do a good job of balancing it where it's just not like literally like 3D animated pornography on your computer. So it's, you know, it's a nice balance in my opinion. And yeah, like I said, mostly I'm just excited to see some new units. Like Wooly said, like the pistol unit. I'd like to see some more machine guns. I can't wait. I'm hoping they're gonna release an actual machine gun for a couple different elements, right? Like that's the thing. We don't have any elemental machine guns, right? Technically, Paritia is corrosion now because she got drafted by Michti, but like that's the only one. Okay, that's enough chatting. It's time to gamble. All right, let's go, guys, and let's just dive right in. I think we're gonna go for. Let's go to a 50-50, and we'll see how it goes. Usually, I do a 50-50 on every character. I'll be honest. I'm not super crazy. We'll skip this because otherwise we'll be here all day. I'll be honest. I'm not super crazy about this character right now for two reasons. One, her design is fine and everything. It's just, except the speaker arm thing. I don't know what is going on with the little speaker on her arm. But little boombox arm. But oh my goodness, that was a fresh. This is a fresh pity, by the way. Is the I can't. Oh my goodness, even that's even better than getting. We're doing it, boys, dude. I'd like to thank my friends. I'd like to thank my family who supported me this entire time. The GFL community as a whole. You guys have been invaluable to me. I'd like to thank the Academy. I wouldn't have made it this far without all of you, and for that I'm so thankful. I accept this award on the behalf of every free-to-play person that has not actually free-to-play, but okay, we're gonna stop that. Okay, wow, all right, well, that would be segment 5 now for Shangju, so I just... Can we get a Florence hand clap for that? Hold up. Just get a... I've been told that my hands sound very fat when I clap, so that was a fat hand clap. Florence does the little... Did we get... I'm not gonna tab out of the stream. Wow, okay. Wait, was that a double? No. Did I just skip past it? Was I not even paying attention? No, it was a single. Don't trick me like that. Don't trick me like that. I wasn't even paying attention. I just was too busy giving my acceptance speech that don't trick me and say that I got a double. I wasn't even looking. Okay, so well, I mean technically that was the 50-50, so I should stop, but I'm not going to, because when you know, when you're handed a gift like that, you gracefully accept it. So okay, we're gonna go for we're gonna grab Yooooooooooohee now, because now Yooooooooooohee. I keep saying Yooooooooooohee because that's how it's spelled, and in English that's how you'd pronounce it. But I know it's Yooooooooooohee. But yeah, we're just gonna grab her now because we're so far ahead because of that. Like I said, I'm not totally free to play on this account. I do buy like the little monthly pass and the battle pass, or whatever they call it in this, the Voyager pass, or whatever. So this isn't technically a free-to-play account, but like, to be honest, with how crazy my luck has been on characters, this might as well be a whale account. Not quite a whale account, but like... Like I said, man, it just, it's crazy. That's crazy. It's so weird, too, because, like I said, in other gacha games, I've had, like, pretty average or below average luck, and in this game, it's just like, dude, I'm on, like, another level. Said, not trying to brag, that's just me humbly accepting the fate that has been handed down to me. So for those of you who are having bad luck, eventually it does turn around. Eventually you do get lucky. So we're gonna continue on here. We're almost there. I like to do the little door sliding animation. I don't know why, it's just very satisfying. But that's good, to be honest, right? Like, the dolphin account thing. So, I normally wouldn't have, I wouldn't have gotten a lot of these characters, but the fact that I started kind of this YouTube channel and I started, like, creating guides and, like, stuff for the channel here, it's like, that's kind of pushed me to grab a lot of these characters that I wouldn't have normally gotten. Like, for example, I would have skipped Yooooooooohee, because right now, she doesn't really have, like, a solid team to pair with. Like, she's a cool character and all, but, like, you know, she really wants, like, a primarily focused physical damage dealer, and there's not really any good... I'll shut up here real quick. pretty awesome. She got a little theme song like that. But yeah, it's like normally I wouldn't grab a character like this because she doesn't really have a place right now. She's kind of like, she's like looking for all her teammates, and there's not really like anyone to pair with her that's like really super strong. But because, like I said, I got the YouTube channel here and I'm doing guides and stuff, I've kind of like forced myself to grab a lot of these characters, and like I said, I've been hashtag blessed because of it. Getting all sorts of crazy luck. So what was that like? Even that one was kind of early. I think we did like a total of 70 pulls total, and we got her. So fantastic. That's good too because we can change the background now. It would have been awkward if I would have had to. There we go. Now we're thematic. Arlo says, I took all of his luck. Vector 1 drained me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Arlo. But the good news is, like I said, Vector 1, I'm glad you... I hope you got her. Hope you didn't, like, end up running out. But Vector 1 for me has been just... Oof. Segment 1 has been just fantastic, dude. It's so comfy to use. Well, he says, my early pulls were awful, but Vector and her weapon were extremely early. Well, that's awesome, too, because, like I said, if you're looking for a unit that is, like, relatively low investment, right? Like, you just need, like, essentially one copy of her and the weapon. Like, the amount of return you get... I said, I did that in my video. I won't repeat myself too much, but, like I said, the amount of value you get from that is kind of not matched by anything that's currently in the game. And probably won't be in the game for a while. Like, the only other character I could think of that kind of matches that value is, like, maybe Segment 1 Springfield, if you're going to match her with Tolol, and, like, maybe Segment 1 Lena, if you're going to go heavy on the electric team with, like, Andros and Leva. So, that's just, you know, my 2 cents. Damn, dude, I'm still kind of in shock because of that. All right, so thank you all for sitting with me through that. I'm not gonna bore you guys with like building her out and getting her out right now. Oh, you know what? We still have a little more gambling. Now, dude, now I'm getting greedy. This is the part where you get punished, and I hope I get punished for this. This is so greedy. This is so greedy. I don't want this weapon. I literally want the 4-star weapon version for the skin. I literally just want the fancy G36 skin here. So we're gonna do like very I won't do 1 pulls because they'll take forever, but I'll do it. I'm gonna do a couple 10 pulls just to quote. This is such a trap. Quote, build pity. I'm gonna build pity on this banner while also trying to get the 4-star version of this weapon. I hope. Don't ever do this, by the way. If you are... This is so horrible. I'm only doing this because the last pulls just went so well. This is... Oh, because you know what happens? Is you get... I guess it's not so bad right now because I don't have a guarantee. But if I had like a guarantee, doing this would be just absolutely stupid. We'll skip this. There it is. Oh, perfect. Dude, said the rich get richer every single time. Every single Woolie's like, your Hoyoverse brain is taking over. It is, dude. It is. This is the kind of stuff I see people always talk about in like other games. They're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm just building pity. But like I said, don't ever do this if you have like a guarantee, right? Like if you had lost a 50-50 or a 75-20 on like the weapon here, do not do this. Because then you accidentally get it, and then you feel stupid because you lost it. So I just wanted it for where is she? It's not Tracy. Get a cool, instead of this butt ass ugly fucking plastic looking one. There we go. That's the one. So we went from this up from, where's the other one? Oh, it's already equipped. So we went from that to that. Very much high def. Super greedy. Don't do what I just did. I didn't even accept, did I? Don't do what I just did. That was like I said, borderline stupid, but we just had such good luck there. We had such good luck there. I thought I'd splurge a little bit. Yeah, you guys are like, was like, and no lesson will be learned from this horrible behavior. Arlo's like, you got away with murder. Yeah, you know, sometimes, but it's recorded, so you guys can show your friends this and tell them, like, be like, don't be like this guy. Okay, so we did the gambling. We talked about Florence. It's time to actually play the game. I won't build Yooooooooooohee right now because, like I had mentioned, really the only. Okay, so let's calm down for a second. I'm talking too fast here. So Yoohee's whole point is that she takes a unit. Not this one. Here we go. She takes a teammate and she just kind of juices them up. And in addition to that, she like buffs the team. But it's like specifically for she's like I said, the physical version of Vector in a weird way. But the problem is you really want like a really strong single target or even AoE physical damage dealer, and they don't really exist right now, right? Like the best options are Ulrid, Diane, which is like, or as they say in the stream, Diane. She doesn't do bad damage, but she doesn't do like, you know, like an actual DP. She doesn't do like Macchiato damage or like Changju damage. So like I said, her big value is the crazy amount of movement she gets and the counterattacks and some of the versatility in her kit. But I guess you could also use Changju if you don't, like, you pulled the key out, right? Like you remove this. Now she's doing physical damage with all of her follow-up attacks or her support attacks. Like that's kind of one way you could use her as well, but I mean, really she's designed for a unit like UMP40, which once again, UMP40 is like, she's a good damage dealer. She's not in our servers, by the way. UMP40 is like a good damage dealer, but she's not like fantastic. So, you know, Yuhi's just kind of waiting for her best buddy to show up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like Diane is a flanker / skirmisher. She's not really meant to be a like primary like damage dealer. She's not. I mean, she doesn't even have the Sentinel rank, right? Like that's kind of they kind of made it clear in her classification. So, but we're not going to build Yooooooooohee right now because we don't really have a good teammate to pair with her, and I don't want to bore you guys with another 10 to 15 minutes of me attaching stuff. We're going to talk about my boy here, Mapro Nexus 1.5. So for those of you guys who have not done this yet, I did this. I put a video on my channel as well about the much beloved Moppy here. So if you wanted like a hand-holding guide, you can watch that, but we're going to do it on stream. And I'll answer any questions we have about this. He's not that difficult, but he is kind of like confusing. Like there's a lot. He's new, especially for frenzy levels here. So we just kind of want like the brain. We're gonna go with like the brain dead strategy that I kind of came up with. There might be even more cheesy strategies, but this one worked really well for me. We're gonna do it on stream here. So frenzy level 18. Normally we take these three because it just makes the fight go longer, and you have a long. That's the thing with these. You got to remember, there's no other mission objectives besides win within 15 rounds. So if someone dies, that's okay. If you know, in the normal version here, it's like win within 8 turns, but in the frenzy version, you got 15 turns. So you have a lot of extra time. So normally I just do these 3 because it's like, okay, well, whatever. The fight's exactly the same, but it's just going to go a little longer. We're not going to do that this time because the way Mapro Nexus works is he's got like a main body and then he's got these 4 little arm parts. And these last 2 specifically, I think it's these guys, right? All right, maybe in this, or am I confusing it with these ones? Here we go, these ones. So these 2 units in the back here have defense array, which is going to reduce the damage the main body takes, which, spoilers, we're just going to focus on the main body. So he's already essentially taking half damage to the main body, and he actually has a pretty high defense stat, which will get even higher once we take the frenzy levels. So he actually is kind of tanky, and it takes a long time to kill him. So in my opinion, I don't think it's really worth it to take these 3 because while they won't really make the fight more difficult, it will make the fight a lot more tedious, if that makes sense. Is this boss a spoiler for the next chapter? I'm gonna assume yes. I don't know because I haven't looked ahead in the story, but Blue Sphere was a spoiler. So was, I guess, Kashmir. They didn't spoil her, but Blue Sphere they came out with like a month ahead of time before the Aphelion event, and there was another boss that was like kind of a spoiler too. So I'm just gonna assume this character or this boss is a spoiler. So unfortunate, but like that's just how it be. It's okay. We have like no context as to why this boss is here. Just imagine big funny robot boss. So right, let's go back on target. Which frenzy levels to take? I said avoid these 3. You could take them, but I would not. It's gonna make the fight longer. We're gonna try and just focus down the main body. So because we're focusing on the main body, this is a freebie. We're not gonna kill his arms. I tried doing the arms, by the way. I tried focusing down the arms one at a time and then working on the main body just to see if that like makes the fight any easier. It just makes it take 10 times as long, right? Because the arm, like the main body, I think has like 290,000 HP. Each arm has like 170. It just makes the fight take so long. So focus the main body. Don't try and kill the arms. So this is a freebie. When taking damage that is not a crit, AoE damage is reduced and defense is increased. Well, once again, we're gonna do single target, so AoE is not a big deal. So we can take this one. It sucks that he's gonna get a 50% damage or a defense increase, but like that's, you know, it's just how it is. The 50%, by the way, I think he naturally sits at about, I want to say he sits at about 5,000 or 6,000 defense base. So 50% of that would be 3,000, which is less than if you took this version, which is another 5,000. So that's why we're taking this, because eventually you're going to not crit an attack and he's going to get the buff. So most of the time he's going to be sitting at an extra couple 2,000 defense, which is less than if you took that. That's why. This one, it depends on what team you're going to use, but I'm going to use the fire team, which would be like Vector, you know, Changju and Sharkream. You could get away with a like physical team, especially now that Yooooooooooohee is out. You could do Yooooooooooohee and like Diane, I guess, maybe Ulrid. But to be honest, we're just gonna use fire. If you're gonna have to rely on Macchiato, like let's say you have like a V1 or V2 Macchiato and you really want her to do all the heavy lifting, don't take this one. Swap this for a different one. I would swap this one for maybe the defense gain every turn. But yeah, this is just a subjective one. Like if you're gonna take if freeze units, if you're gonna use Macchiato as your primary damage dealer, like let's say that's the only team you got, like that's just, I mean, sorry, you're gonna have to not take this one. But since we're not gonna, we are taking Macchiato, but she's just there to soak attacks. She's not actually gonna be a main damage dealer, so we're gonna take that one. If an enemy's phase unit isn't, or phase weakness isn't exploited, we're gonna reduce stability damage. This one's a freebie again because stability damage on this boss does nothing. Like if we look at the boss, like his main body part, he doesn't have the typical, if this unit is above 0 stability, reduce damage taken by 80%. He doesn't have that trait at all. So stability on this boss pretty much does nothing. So I gotta reselect him. So this gets us a 16, and then all we gotta do is take one other one. You could do this one. It's gonna slow it down a little bit. We're gonna take Dust Sweeper Storm. Does not hit a doll. It's gonna increase the targeted damage. You'll see why, because A, there's like kind of a ways you can cheese this, and B, this like is not very impactful. So that's we're gonna take that one as our 18. If you don't want to take that one, like I said, the defense every turn is just gonna slow the fight down a ton. Which, once again, it doesn't really matter because this fight is going to be like kind of like the same 4 turns over and over and over again. And you have 15 turns to do this, so you'll be pretty solid. This one's not bad as well if you have a high damage team, But if you're struggling to do damage, like if your team's like a little, like if you're relatively newer and you don't have like maybe cracked out units and cracked out attachments, like you might want to stay away from these because these can stack up and cause some oopsies moments if the boss gets too big, which is another reason we didn't take this. He doesn't normally hit too hard, but he does put vulnerability stacks on your units, which combined with the increased damage over time could result in some team deaths and some team wipes. So we're gonna take these 18 and we're gonna kind of like breeze through this real quick. But before we do that, I am going to take a quick AFK to get a refill and use the bathroom because I just spent so much time talking about a bunch of other nonsense that I'm a little behind on my drink status here. So I'm going to switch it to, oh my God, I'm such a dummy, dude. I didn't set up the AFK screen again. So I'm going to go back to the stream starting soon screen, and we will be right back with the boss, and then I'll kind of walk you through it. Well, it's like Monster Alchemy. No, dude. I've already been doing Monster Alchemy. Dude, I'm on that Florence Alchemy, dude. He's testing them serums. So for this fight, I'm gonna give you the semi-brief version, but I'm also gonna, I said, if you guys got any questions about this, we'll maybe do some experimentation. But I'll try and give the brief version of this because if you want like the full hand-holding guide, I put the video up on the channel. So for this fight, you're gonna need we're gonna have 2 units over here. These are gonna be our comfy safe units that are just gonna get to stand in place and do damage and never get attacked. We're gonna do Changju and Sharkri because, like I said, I have a segment 1 vector, so that's gonna be the primary damage dealers. So we're gonna have them just sit on this side of the map and just get comfy. And then this side of the map, we're going to be kind of doing the only boss mechanic, which is, to be honest, very straightforward. It's like do the dance back and forth. But to do that properly, where it doesn't get messed up, you need to have your person with your highest attack power on the team, which will be Macchiato for us. Or you know what? Let's do Papa Shot. I did it with Papa Shot. I tested this out with Papa Shot. It worked out surprisingly well. So we're going to mess around. We're going to do it with Papa Shot. So unit with the highest attack power on the team is going to be Papa Shah and her robot specifically. Then you're also going to need a unit that you want to take the close attacks, which for us is going to be Vector. This unit doesn't have to be anything special. It's just, it is going to be taking attacks. So you probably don't want like a really poorly geared out unit doing it. And then we're going to want our healer, which should also be the highest HP target. So highest attack, the unit that's going to take the close attacks, which can be anybody, and then your highest HP target. These are the 3 units that are going to be on this side of the map, and as you're going to see in a second here, we're just going to bounce back and forth. I'll do this with Centurici, or not. I did it with Centurici in the video. We're going to do it with Xiaomi, just to show you how ridiculously easy it is with Xiaomi. Oh, no, not French liquor. We're on the Deutsches drink today. Which is Monster Energy drink, because this is a PG-13 stream. So, the strategy is always going to be the same. These 2 units, we're going to have them act last, but they're going to come to here and here. And these are going to be safe spots that they're never going to have to move from. The highest attack power unit is always going to be here, which is Papa Shot. So we'll go ahead and start setting her up. Quick caveat. Papa Shot is the highest attack sometimes. The other time it's actually the City Warden, so which is fine. Either one of these 2 units can be the highest attack. But sometimes this guy will get clapped so hard that he will go into self-repair mode, and then it'll go to Papa Shot, which is totally cool. But to keep that in mind, you want to either sandbag your gear on some of your safe mode DPSs, like Changju here. If like this attack is too high, like let's say it was 3200, you'd want to switch out some of her attachments so that they're a little weaker. And also, don't be using Common Rail to give yourself the Blazing Assault. So, highest attack power there, which actually it'll be the robot this turn. Nearest unit goes to here, and we'll just start the DPS rotation on her. And then we're going to do the highest HP target next to them. This doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to have it go last so the shield lasts longer. Yeah, we got to. Whatever you do, like I said, for turns, so he's going to hit the closest target with bit impact, and then Data Crush here is going to hit the highest attack. Whenever this attack, Data Crush, is in his order, make sure you do not use Common Rail for Changju or anybody else that's going to have like an increase in attack power type buff. So while it isn't technically efficient to do this, we're doing this anyway. And then we'll have Sharker come over here. Which, once again, like I said, not super efficient this first turn, but that's okay. And then, like I said, Xiaomi, we don't want to overwrite the fire tile, so we'll just throw this in the corner. And then if you did all that, and you stood where you want, well, I'm gonna slow this down real quick. He's gonna do his attacks, but Nier will go on Vector. Highest attack, Data Crush will go on whoever the highest attack is, which in this case is gonna be City Warding, but otherwise it would be like Macchiato standing here. And then these last 2 are going to be like AoE zones that it puts down on the 2 closest, which once again will be Vector, and it'll be Papa Shy as the other one. But since they're all in a nice little comfy line like this, they're going to kind of overlap these AoEs, which is going to make it really easy to dodge them. Here we go. So, now that he did this, the units that got hit by those attacks, like the Nier and Far, or the Nier and the highest attack power, are going to get this debuff called Shred. This is the stacking vulnerability that can really crack your units and make it bad times for them. So to counteract this, he throws out these Morpo bombs. These are going to do a little bit of AoE damage, but mostly they're going to remove the Shred, and it gets kind of nasty if you don't actually remove Shred. He gets really angry. But doing this strategy I'm about to show you, it's super easy. Nearest target, whoever this is, Vector or whoever, will come to here. This turn, by the way, it's going to be the Morpo bomb, which is going to be on the highest HP unit, which will be Centurici or Xiaomi, and then nearest target, which will be Vector. So we can increase our attack power. So we'll Common Rail with Changju. And once again, closest target comes to here. So the only problem with this fire team is it takes so long for their follow-up attacks. Whoever your highest attack power unit is going to come to here, the furthest they can go this direction. We're just going to hit it with the alt so that next turn we can move the city warden to a better spot. Oh, he's in a pretty good spot right now, actually. And then Xiaomi is going to come to right here because Xiaomi is the highest HP target in the team, so she's going to get hit with the Mapro bomb, and that's going to cleanse off these shred stacks. And so we want her within 5 tiles of the people who have the stacks, which will be Vector and Papa Shah in this example. So by standing there, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So we'll be good. You can do whatever. We'll just hit the boss. If someone's like damaged a little bit, you can heal them, but like I said, don't really matter. It would matter for units like Ksenia that don't have crazy good healing output, or even Ulfane. Then you might need to heal. The healer might need to use a heal on themselves to make sure that they're the highest HP target. But these will go, they'll miss. Then he'll do the bomb, which cleanses all the stacks, and then he'll do near target, which will be Vector. And now we're going to kind of start to just repeat this whole cycle. So nearest target will come back here. Oh, sorry. I got to ult with Changju first. Nearest target will come to here. Highest attack power target will come to here. Let's go ahead and move the city warden. It doesn't really matter where he goes, actually. Let's just... It's fine if he's in the back, because he's gonna, once again, he's right now, he's healthy enough that he's active, and he has the highest attack by a lot. So he's actually gonna take this this data crush. So, but we'll pretend like this is Macchiato, right? Like if you're using another unit like Macchiato or some other stand-in for your highest attack power unit, they would go to where Papa Shah's gonna stand. But oops. Right, move to there, put the city warden there. And City Warden works pretty well against this boss too, because it's a large target, and City Warden gets a lot of bonuses versus that. And then we're going to have Xiaomi go last, because once again we want the shields to last as long as possible. So we'll have Sharkery go. Yeah, that's the only... Willie's like, how many support attacks would you like? And the answer is yes. Unfortunately, a lot of the support attacks are wasted because they end up going on like the arms and stuff, which, like I said, we're not actually focusing down because the main body has 240,000, 48,000, and these have 150 apiece. So it's like to kill all these arms is like way longer than just focusing the body. And while yes, they do give the main body damage reduction, it's still just better to focus the main body and easier on your sanity. But we'll have her go last, throw the ice in the corner again, doesn't really matter, we're just doing it for the shield. So he's gonna take another set of stacks. I said it's not too important that you even cleanse him, like he's not in range to get cleansed, but it doesn't matter because if he, quote, dies, he just goes into self-repair mode, so it's not a big deal. He's a champ and he's hanging in there. He's like, I got one more in me. I got one more in me. Put me in, coach. Yeah, we've been. I mean, yes, we've chunked him. We've killed half his HP in 3 turns. But to be fair, this team is a little on the strong side as far as investment. And I am using Vector's segment 1 with the weapon. So it's like not everyone is gonna have this level of like damage output. So I'm trying to make this a universal strategy that you can just continuously use. So while he's half dead at turn 3, if you didn't have these units or you had like really poorly geared units, you could still do this exact same strategy. It's just going to take you till, I don't know, turn 9 or turn 10. Now we're back to it. We've pretty much got back to turn 1, and we're going to rinse and repeat. Near target, highest attack power, and then the closest 2 are going to get the AoEs put on them, which as long as we stay, these 3 units stay in the same column, all the AoEs would go right here. One small thing to keep in mind, at this point, Vector is stability broken, so she's actually going to start taking a decent amount of damage from these near attacks. So if you really wanted to, you could rotate her out. Like, we will do it. Wait, did I ult Changju yet? Not yet. Once again, his second ability here is targeting highest attack power, so we don't want to use common rail. You can have Vector stand right here, for example, because it's going to be nearest and highest attack power, so even though she's not in cover, it'll be fine. Like, for example, CC's like attacking the arms. Like, this doesn't really help us. And then you can have, like, you know, maybe rotate Xiaomi to get a little stability on, or to use a little bit of her stability up while Vector kind of waits for the next and recover. If you're not using, if your healers are kind of weak, like I said, Groza is another really good choice for this fight because she avoids the stability problem a lot because her perfect defense gives her a lot of stability back, and she's going to be dumping shelter on all these units on this side of the map, which will really alleviate how much damage or how much stability damage they've taken. So Groza is another really good target to have on this side, even though she doesn't do a lot of damage. Papa Shah, we're just gonna redo your rotation. Oh yeah, dude, 100% agree with you, Wooly. Even if your Vector has no segments and no weapon, it would only extend the fight by a couple of turns. But like I said, even if you don't even have Vector, right? Like, let's say you're running, like, I don't know, man, like a segment 2 Changju with like no upgrade key and, like, I don't know, like a segment 0 Papa Shah and maybe like Diane. Like, maybe those are your damage dealers, right? Or maybe even Nemesis, right? Like, maybe you gotta like lean on Nemesis to do a lot of the damage on this fight. Then it might take you a little more than just a couple turns. But yeah, we're back to this. We're just gonna continue to rinse and repeat. This is a turn that doesn't care about attack power rating, so we can use Changju's common rail here. Get her a little attack power. Once again, Xiaomi is the highest HP, so she will get hit with this. If you were being cautious and you put the shields on at the end of turn 3, nobody should lose their shield on this turn, so you should be good. I said in the video that I recorded and I put on the channel here, I do it with Centurisi for a healer instead of Xiaomi, and it's still really light on the damage. You could probably, I didn't try it with Ksenia. I've been procrastinating building her, but you could probably easily do it with even her. Colfane, I think, would easily be more than enough to heal this fight. It's not very, in fact, Colfane might be easier too because she gives a lot of stability back with her ult. So yeah, we've dodged those. You gotta remember, by dodging these, because of the, let's see if I can show it here. Because we took this one here, Dust Sweeper Storm, which was what that big AoE was, his targeted damage increases by 50%. So I didn't mention this tonight, but if you have a pretty thick shield, like for example, this Papa Shah had a lot of shield, she could have just stood here instead of coming to where she stood right now. She could have just stood there and soaked one of those so that the boss didn't get the targeted attack boost. But like I said, man, this boss actually doesn't even hit that hard. So with shields, like, Xiaomi makes it so ridiculously easy because of her shields. Even with the 50% damage boost on a Vector that doesn't have any cover, like doesn't have any stability, so she's not getting the stability reduction, it still didn't even crack her shield. We'll just, I don't know, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Oops, I forgot to use Changju first. Ah. No, trash gamer, trash stream, horrible guide. I want my money back. Sorry, not sorry, by the way. But yeah, that's the whole fight, guys. You can literally just rinse and repeat this as many turns as you need. It's the same movement pattern. The other thing is, if you have Xiaomi, another reason she makes this ridiculously easy, which hopefully the boss won't die here. Another reason she makes this ridiculously easy is if you take this common keys, positive feedback, whoever your near target is, if they ever dip below 80%, she can literally just keep doing the rest of the mechanics and spamming the single target shield on them to give them stability back and regen, and she won't even lose confectance. So another, like I said, another reason why Xiaomi makes this stupid easy. But we're just gonna kill the boss. That's it. I'm sure there's plenty of other weapon or unit choices you can do, but that's what we did it with. Here's the damage breakdown. This is not accurate. Do not trust this. Don't do this. Don't ever. I don't ever want to see you guys posting pictures of your damage breakdowns and saying, "Wow, Vector's better than Changju." I will find you, and I will hurt you. We did it, guys. That was an hour. I'm retired. Thanks for coming. Yeah, that's kind of all the stuff I actually wanted to cover tonight, though. I am, as Wooly has obviously pointed out, I'm a fake gamer. I have not done the story. I did not do the supply missions yet. Kind of just vibe into this music right now. No, I can't even auto these. Let's... Does the music play during the map too? Aw, damn. Is this my units? Yeah, they are. Okay. I'm like, last time it pranked me, remember? And they, we did the challenge modes, and they're like, oh, yeah, sure, dude. And they weren't actually even my units. Let's just swap you for you. And then we're going to auto battle this while I talk. So yeah, dude, we had a pretty wild stream tonight. This in my opinion. We didn't even get to talk about our discussion topics, man. I'm a little disappointed. One of the discussion topics, ironically, is very much in line with what I was showing at the end, or at the beginning of the stream about Florence. So this is something I was seeing people talk about a lot in like a random, I don't remember where I saw this. I want to say it was, it doesn't matter where I saw it. The point is they were discussing, we talk about character designs and whether they're more, and like why some of the character designs are like, they're more thematic than personal, and what they meant by that, they were talking about how a lot of characters are like, okay, they're just kind of there to fill a checkbox, right? And they don't even like their like character design slash like the clothes they wear and the attacks they do. They're not even like related to how the unit operates. Like, let me give you an example. So, in fact, right here, Pretia is kind of a good example. Pretia was like, the devs sat down and they're like, we want a cat girl in the game. How can we do that? And so they like designed her entire aesthetic around that idea of like, okay, she's gonna have little cat ears and the tail, and gonna have all these like cat-like like attributes, and that's fine, except then like the choices for outfits and stuff, and like they do a decent job in this game of doing like personalities that match that, but I've seen, especially in other games, where the unit's like iconic, like the stereotype behind the unit, like what this unit is supposed to be. Like Sentries is another good example, right? They're like, oh, we need a battle maid in the game, and so it's like they design the characters in a way where it's like they're just kind of there to fill like, or to check off the boxes, but it's like, why would the characters ever like, you know, dress like this or use these weapons or etc.? Centuries is kind of a bad example because they did have like 2 games worth of like story building and like personal like side stories around her. She's got like a whole bunch of like iconic reasons why she uses the gun and you know why she's got the maid attire, etc. But like Pretia's just like, yo, we needed a cat girl in this game, let's fucking do it. And it's a, in this game it's not so bad, but there are a couple characters I noticed. Like for example, I don't want to say Yooooooooooohee, but like kind of like Yuhi's like, bro, we needed a K-pop character in the game, like a K-pop idol, even though they kind of already had a couple like idol type characters in Sharkery and Vepley. And like so they designed him they designed her in a way where it's like, okay, cool, how can we, like for example the arm speaker, right? Like that, it's just weird. It's just like they just wanted to like reinforce the fact that this is a K-pop like singer character, but like not necessarily have anything to do with her background, her story, or like her personality, right? I'm trying to think of a better example. This is like I said, they were talking about a different game and they were talking about character design in that game, and so I'm like trying to transplant it into this game. So I'm doing a really poor job of explaining it, but you kind of get the idea. The idea is like they design a character a certain way and versus the character like this is what the character would do. Like, well, good example. Here we go. 416 or Klukai, her other skin, the little racer, speed racer skin, like that makes no sense. Like to her and her personality, she would never, like in my opinion, I don't think she'd ever wear that outfit, right? Like that's not something that she would sit down and be like, because her whole personality is like very elitist, right? She's very much like, I'm Mrs. Perfect Elite Tactical Terminator doll, and I'm here to show everyone how awesome I am, and I'm super serious about it. Like I don't got time for games, right? For her to like show up one day in like the racing girl outfit is like it's very much not in line with her personality. But like clearly someone on the art team was like, yo, we need this skin because whatever reasons. And I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at, is like there's lots of examples of character designs that are just kind of there because like not necessarily fan service, but they're just not aligned with the character themselves. Reading the chat here, Bully's talking about trivia and Arknights, which he says that the devs, well, they had the same, a couple of the same devs, and they have artists and dev lineage from GFL1 at a special selective hard mode that's capped its rewards at 18. That might just be a nice coincidence, just like, or maybe it's GFL2 taking a shot at them, just like they did with the little butt shooting Nikki mode. The little mini game in this, like that's clearly obviously to like make fun of a certain other game. But yeah, that might, I know there's a little bit of animosity between I don't know if this animosity is the right term, but I know that there was some hard feelings between the two companies after things split. Yeah, there's exactly, well, there's a funny line in Krolik's tactical skin saying that she hates it. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm talking about. We're just like auto-attacking this boss. I didn't even see what he does. Oh, it's Lumi from the hit game Genshin Impact. Making lots of very painful noises, though. But yeah, let's see. I think I can find that, right? Krolik, where are you? I can click her. Yeah, lacks her beloved bunny ears, a fact that visibly annoys her. They said this is kind of another character where it's just like they're like, hey, we need a character with like the bunny ears aesthetic, and that's it. And they just like had no reason for anything else. Like, there's nothing about her personality that says, I guess it's supposed to be just like a quirky little side thing. Oh, hold up. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a weird error on the YouTube stream that I've never seen before. I'm just kind of checking it out real quick. Might have some weird lag going on, but yeah, Krolik is another example. It's like, well, they just wanted a bunny-eared character in the game, and they're like, how can we do it? I don't know. Give it to her and make her personality not match it at all. But maybe that's supposed to be like the funny little quirk about her. I don't know. Anyway, that's my little topic about that. Not a very well thought out topic, but that's just something I because the game they were talking about in specifically had a couple good examples of characters that did not match their profession or like background, right? Like the characters they were talking about were like, either supposed to, like, imagine if they took a character like Yooooooooooohee and they're like, oh, she's the most revered bounty hunter in all the Yellow Zone. She's an actual cold-blooded killer. And then she's got animations where she does, like this kind of stuff. It's like, it just wouldn't match, right? It'd be like really goofy and like out of place. And that's kind of what they were talking about in that game specifically. At least like she kind of like pulls off the aesthetic of like, I want to be a K-pop idol and I'm just kind of stuck in the hell that is the Yellow Zone. And so I'll just have the private stage on the Elmo and call it a day. Yeah, Willie says Arknights and GFL are both being written by history nerds, and for the first for world history buffs, and the second for World War I and II nerds. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because they really gloss over the history aspect of GFL. Maybe originally that's how it started, with like when they were deciding like which weapons they should put in the game. But especially in like PNC and GFL2, they really took the story in their own direction, which I think was probably a better thing, because I don't know, trying to re-envision World War I and World War II, I feel like is kind of a trap, because you can change it a little bit and like mush around the details, but like at the end of the day, you kind of stick to the same narrative every single time, like Axis and Allies, for example, because otherwise it's not a World War II story. Right? It's like a totally different story, so it's weird. It's like you're allowed to change some of the places or the results of the battles, but like you don't actually change anything. It's just kind of a weird thing. So I think it's probably better that they leaned into their own fresh, like post-apocalyptic World War III setting. And then Willie was saying her Yooooooooohee's story is less than an hour to read it all. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about the new event here, right? This one here. To be honest, that doesn't surprise me too much, because that's the same as Vector's. Maybe about how long? Oh yeah, oh wow, this is even shorter. My goodness. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was meant to be a side story, right? Like obviously, it's even out of. This is supposed to be around Christmas time. But we're obviously getting it in June, or May, soon to be June. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. That's the thing. And this is another interesting point you brought up. It's probably better that these stories are short and sweet, right? Like, I obviously haven't done this one yet, so I don't want to comment on how satisfying of a story this is, but I was thinking about this the other day, when they kind of tease Florence, and I'm like, it would be really nice if they would just focus on the main story, like I had forgot all about Helena, right? Like the actual, like, the little girl from the actual story campaign here that you go and rescue, and you're trying to get to the bottom of like why Paradius is doing all the crazy nonsense they're doing. They kind of like pivoted. Like you get to chapter 8, you do all that, and it's like starting to heat up, and you're like, yeah, let's get these guys. And then Diane's rewritten event kind of ties into it a teeny bit, and then we can kind of deviate way off target. Like I like the Aphelion event, and it was cool, and it was a really awesome story. Don't get me wrong, Dimitri the Goat is one of the greatest characters ever done, and but it kind of had nothing to do with what the main character being the commander and the Elmo. Like it had nothing to do with what they were doing. They just kind of show up at the end and be like, "Yo, dog, I'm here to save the day." Like, so it'd be nice to continue on like the main story with, Helena, the clones, like what's going on with Paradis, like, and even maybe explore some of the backgrounds of the characters on the Elmo, because Groza's still having her weird PTSD, and just a total complete mess. So it'd be nice if they would just kind of like continue that story. So it's to me, it's not a big negative that some of these side stories are short. I would prefer these be like short little distractions that happen in every other patch, and then the main story continue on, and they continue to get further down the line, because to be honest, I think a lot of the cool characters that everyone is waiting for is going to be tied to the main story, right? Like AN-94, AK-15, AK-12, like those units are not going to enter GFL2 until the main story kind of like forces them into the spotlight. Yeah. I mean, I know Aphelion's story was a tie-in, right? Like it gives you a lot of background to the setting and like what's going on in the area. I'm just saying that because the story doesn't directly involve like the quote main characters, it was a lot of story that didn't really push the narrative forward. For example, if instead of the Aphelion event where you get to hang out with Dimitri and learn how awesome he is, and how he's racist versus T-Dals, rightfully so, if you didn't get to experience that, or like if they didn't experience that, and they just summarize the event by you showing up, saving the day, and then kind of them just like doing a little bit of a narrative dump on you and being like, "Oh, 416, what are you doing here? Oh, funny you should ask. I was assisting the Neo-Soviet blah 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 blah," and just kind of give you a quick rundown of what happened. Right? Like the end result would have been the same, in that you kind of would have got caught up with like what was going on, like what Paradis was doing in the area, and like the direction of the narrative, but without literally wasting. Wasting. That's not the right term, but without having a huge 2-part event that was not focused on the main narrative, right? Like it's a side detour in the main story, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I liked it, loved it. I'm not talking bad about it. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, it was a lot of event and a lot of words to not push the main story forward, which is totally cool if you're not like, if people aren't desperate for the main story to get advanced. But like I said, I know people are waiting for, like I said, units like AK-15, AN-94, Sapo. Ro did actually make an appearance in the new event, and so she's now a recruitable character. But like I said, AR team, DeFi team, 404 is almost all in the game, right? Who are we missing from 404? Nobody, right? Yeah, so everyone from 404 is in the game, but like I said, there's a lot of other popular characters that haven't quite made their grand debut on the main stage. Well, guys, I mean, I've been yapping, and I've been clapping for about an hour now. I think. I mean, I'm running out of things to talk about. That's not true. I could literally yap forever, but I won't do it. I'll restrain myself. We're gonna wind it down there. Thanks everyone for coming out to the stream. Thanks for the guys who watch this in the near to far future. Once again, thanks to my friends, family, and the Academy for helping me get those crazy cracked pulls. I guess now I'm duty bound to do a guide on Yooooooooooooohee. Darn. I was hoping for a vacation. But with that, next week we're gonna do. Once again, challenge modes won't be open. You know what I will do this time? I don't know. Gunsmoke Frontline this time should be the same boss. Can I look at it? Can it preview it? No, I can't show you. But it should be exactly the same boss. So I might do a special like little mini stream to talk about it for people who got questions. But nothing should have changed on the Gunsmoke Frontline boss. And next week we're only gonna have a couple challenge modes, but you know, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just play Dire Jump the whole time. I don't know. But anyway, thanks guys for coming out. You're all kings. You're all kings of your own castle. So you guys have a good one, and I will catch you guys next week for Friday Night Frontline. Last one for May. So see ya.